Hello and welcome to the Frontend Coffee Break, a podcast where we take a moment of our lives to take a break, drink some coffee or whatever your drink of choice is. Right now it's summer, and in my case, I'm drinking a cold drink, which the ice are already melting because it's quite hot. Anywho, we get together with drinks and we discuss things front end or front end related. And as always, Ricard, welcome to the coffee break.
Thank you. Yeah, it's too hot for coffee unless you do iced coffee, which is it's a thing.
Yes.
It's a thing.
It is. I don't remember where I heard that people found here in Spain is very common that you ask for a coffee and with a glass of ice, and they just bring it and people just put a hot coffee on the glass of wine and they a glass of with ice and they
Glass of
drink
wine,
it.
you said?
Yes, I said glass of wine, but no. Um, and I think that some cultures find this like super strange, but it's like it's a common thing, especially when
Maybe
it's hot.
Italians don't they like their espresso.
Oh, they sure like their shots in like espresso shots, but I'm guessing. I mean, people ask for coffee like that, espressos and poof, ice. Poof,
Yeah. They
and
do
you
it
have
here
your hot.
with cortados with coffee and milk. Yeah, it's doable. I think it's okay. No.
Well, today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the working. This is something that I don't know why we haven't talked about. The working from home. Has working from home changed the way that you work? I I think we've been COVID back in 2020 changed the landscape completely. It forced a lot of people to have to go back to their places and start working from home. Some, I think, some jobs were easier to move home than others, and I think that in IT, the development in general development and IT in general has been is one of the jobs that really doesn't affect that much if you do it wherever you are. And I'd like to talk a little bit about what it was before, what it is now, cons, pros, how it has changed. For me, definitely, though, when I started working from home after COVID, it was I was working one way, and for me, it was very different from what I'm doing right now. So that would be the idea of today's conversation.
Yeah, definitely. I think for us it was an easy switch. And I mean, it's what we do currently, which is working coding and I don't know, back in the day you also had remote teams working, I don't know, in Germany or other countries. So definitely not super groundbreaking, right?
In a way, yes. Okay. Let's begin with that. When both you and I started working from home. This is. I'm sorry, a small pause. I think that one of the interesting things about talking about this is that we've been working like this for 5 years now. In general, in the IT world, I think it's a given, or a lot of people expect to be working from home, or at least hybrid in a lot of the IT related jobs. And there is a whole new generation that's only known this. They've only known working from home. They're only known remote work or hybrid work. They haven't had the chance to be going to the office.
Is it the
So,
chance, or is it that they're lucky that they haven't had to go to the office?
well,
What is it?
let's discuss about that when we get to see the pros and cons about it. Anywho, when we started here at Cognizant and Centric, we both came before pre-COVID, so we lived the culture that we had back then. I One of the nice things about the company when we joined, or one of the things that made it attractive to me, is because they said, "Hey, you can work from home from time to time." There was no specific limit. There was no specific. I think that there were no rules like, "Oh, you have to work this amount of." No, it's like, "Hey, we give you the chance to work from home. We expect you to come to the office, but if you need to work from home, you can work from home." So we already had protocols regarding this. We already knew what we had to do. I usually worked from home when I had to, for example, a doctor's appointment, or I needed to get to a certain place that was closest from my house than another, or I was going to be very late, and it was better to go back to my home than to the office. Those were the times that I needed to do this. And from time to time, when I traveled, for example, and visited my family, I went traveling outside the city, and I kept on working for a couple of days like this. This was the way that we worked back then, but it was mostly expected for you to go to the office? I don't know if you used a lot the opportunity of working from home back pre-COVID.
So now that you mention it, no, I don't think so. Like the thing I saw, like when I joined this company, was like, oh, the offices are awesome. The tables are big, the big
Yes.
screens or two screens, and the chairs, like meeting rooms, everything was amazing, right? Like the kitchen and the arcade machine or whatever, or the football, whatever. And I don't think I made much use of the work from home in those, maybe it was like 2 years since I joined until pandemic, maybe 2-3 years. Maybe 1 or 2 times, maybe. But at home back then, I didn't have this setup right here, the lighting, the microphone, the good cameras. So I didn't have this setup. So it was not very convenient to me to do it from home. And I don't live that far from the office. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I just go to the office.
Well, in it's definitely a different way of working, and I remember that one of the things also that made me say applies to the company was because when I did an interview for another company that was in the same building, and I saw the offices, and I said, yes, this is the kind of office I want to work with in. But the offices that I worked back then were cramped. As you say, it was just full of people. The desks were small. You have everyone uh, on top of you, very loud. And when I got to the office, it's like, oh my God, this is so peaceful. There's a lot of space between. You can even play football between the tables because there's so much space. And yeah, definitely the office was very inviting, and I didn't think about any other option.
Then you had the same experience as me. Like in the previous jobs I had, the offices were not that great. Like
Yes.
going from very bad chairs, very small desk where you could barely put your hands on the keyboard. So you would appreciate these sort of big offices, open spaces, the quiet. So definitely you were saying, oh, this is awesome. You were not thinking, oh, I will work great from home. You wouldn't even think about this. You would think,
Nope.
these offices are amazing and I want to work here.
Now I have changed my mindset regarding this. I've been in meetups to different offices. I've seen amazing offices, like offices when you get there and they blow your mind. Like, oh, we have this cafeteria, super nice, super modern cafeteria with this and theater, a small theater inside. I mean, like, what the heck? And you see everything, and it's like, oh, this is so pretty. If I worked in this company, it would be nice to come once a week here and work. My mind's, even though the offices right now are amazing, in my mind, the normal is, oh, it would be nice the day that I decide to come to the office, but I do not expect to go to the office. So for me, this is a very big change on the mindset of how one would work.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. I think it's one of the things that like you don't know that you want or need until you have it, because back then we didn't know that it was so much better in terms of quality of life, that work from home, maybe hybrid or 3 days or like some of us 5 days a week, and we go there once every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So we didn't know how good it was, like not to spend time commuting and all those things.
Yes. But back then for me, pre-COVID, when I worked from home, I wasn't as productive as I was when I went to the office. That was me. I got distracted. Although I had a decent setup at home, I had a desk, I had a second screen, I had everything more or less well distributed, so I could comfortably work from home. I wasn't productive. I stayed for home to work for the doctor. I did the meetings. As you said, we had a lot of meetings with people from different offices. So it didn't matter if I was at home or in the office. But I felt that at the end of the day, I hadn't worked as well or as much as if I had gone to the office. And actually, let's go to the COVID when we were forced to go to work from home. I struggled with that because there were times that I was just, well, it was also the general mood. I was just like looking at my computer and thinking, what the heck is happening? What I don't want to do. I cannot work as effectively. I hope that this finishes and I can go back to the office.
Okay, but if we rule out like COVID and pandemic, it was very stressful for everybody. Like, let's talk just what you said before pandemic. When you were saying that you were not as productive, is it because, I'm thinking 2 ways. One, either your team was mostly like on site on the office, and then you could not have these immediate interactions, or was it because now we've learned how to work remotely in terms of the setup, the software, the how to work async, not to wait for people in terms of water falling, but just working a more asynchronous way. What do you think was it? Like why were you not productive back then?
I think it was because of the way that I work. I still do it a little bit, but not as much as before. I am the person that works for a certain amount of time and then stops, and I have to get distracted, and then I got back to work. In the office, for me, this distraction was stopping working, going for a coffee, and talking to people. And I loved the how casually you could talk, you would cross paths with someone and started talking about potential things about work or something else. I many more than one time I got into an office space, well, one of the cafeterias that had the whiteboards, and people were writing, and we engaged in that. That was super nice. Also, as you say, also I had most of the time I had team members at the office, so I just walked to them, I interacted with them. So I didn't when I started working from home back then. I didn't have that, and I suddenly when I needed a break, I would get distracted, and it would take me more time to get back in the mood because I wasn't in the office, and also there were not people that I would talk to, so I would get a little bit frustrated or just work a little bit slower. In any case, it was I had to change the way that I structured my workday, and once I did, I became more productive at home than at the office. So what was your case?
Yeah, I mean, I guess back then most of my team was like the immediate team was at the office, right? And also I had people in like Romania or Germany, but it was smaller. So the big chunk was in Barcelona. And then I guess we were not so used to just, everybody in the office and then you have to call in and they have to go to a meeting room for you. It's different, no? But nowadays everybody's doing the Zoom call. And so if you have a good setup, a good internet, a good camera, a good microphone, it's amazing, right? It's comfortable. And definitely I think we got used to it or we got better at doing this remote work. I think before we were more like, I
Yes.
need something, I need to stand up and just go to you in that moment. And now our mindset is sort of like, okay, let me just drop a message. And whenever this person comes back, I'll get it. But I'm not sure that people still do it. But for me, it's a mind shift where I don't, how to say it? Like I'm not usually blocked. Like I say, oh, I'm blocked because I'm waiting for this. I know I can do other stuff. I know that I can drop a message here, channel there. Let's meet later, and I can work more sync or leave a message for tomorrow. It's fine. And before, I think it was more like waterfall. Like if I'm blocked, I need to stand up, go to my lead or my QA, unblock me, and then continue working. I don't know.
For me, the one of the things also that changes the planning. Right now, I rely more on planning when I'm meeting up with whom. So I rely a lot more, and we've talked about it. We discussed a little bit in the one of the first podcasts, one of the first episodes. We talked about how we organize our day as a developer, and the reason that I organize myself with the calendar right now, it's because of this. I learned how to be more organized because it wasn't as easy as hi, can I fetch you for a moment, and people were more inclined to work. I think we lost a little bit of something more oriented to culture, and I think we've also lost a little bit about a certain enrichment that you can get uh, interacting with people. But on the other side, I think we gain more organization. Like we know it's easier. I think it's easier for me to say, hey, we meet at between 3 and 3:30 to someone that's remote than to my colleague here. Hey, we're gonna meet in 3:30. Yes, you could do it, but I didn't feel that natural. So I think that that's one of the things that changed. That I
Yeah.
learned how to be more organized.
And I think you also hit on the nail here that we don't have to like discard the social aspect, that the culture that we're losing. Yes, now because we've been like 15 minutes talking about how awesome it is to work from home, but also we need to value that. Yes, the culture is very hard now to do a remote first, like you could get a new joiner, and it's very hard to like how to say it, to pass on the culture of the company
Yes.
or the values when it's just remote and you see them in a small camera with a fake background. You don't really connect with anybody. And also the social aspect where you really sometimes need to talk to a human being. You're not just machines,
Yes.
right? And you want to go there, have lunch, and that's what happens to me when I go to the office. That I'm not
Yes.
productive because I want to talk to people, and people talk to me in the kitchen, whatever it is, and it's more socializing than actually shipping code.
But yet I think that this kind of things, these kind of interactions enrich you, give you, makes you happier, and if you're happier, you're usually more relaxed and work better. But you just mentioned something very, very important: the culture. I think that that's the biggest thing that you've lost, that we've lost as a company, or any company loses when they with full remote work. That you are not suddenly part of this family in a way, let's call it like that, and because you're more detached, everyone's everywhere, you don't get to meet, you don't get to know that, oh, this is your baby, look at the pictures and things like that, or you don't get to make these connections with people, and also you don't get to make this, and because you're not connecting with people, and the most important thing in a company are their people, you don't get to connect to the company. We are the company. And for example, you and I, and when we go to the office and we meet new joiners and they meet us and any other that works in the company, they meet the company. We are the representation of the company. And if they make a connection with us, they're making a connection with the company. And this was one of the things, the first web summit that I could go after the COVID, this was the kind of talks that I was trying to find. And although some of them mentioned this or hinted this in the title, only one of all the talks that I saw there talked a little bit about this, about how how to try to keep on uh, maintaining that culture in a remote world. And the answer is basically it's not easy, and you're not gonna get the
No,
same
I mean,
thing.
and who has the answer, right? There's no clear answer. How do you force people to go to the office? Do you force new joiners to go to the office? There's no clear solution here because, again, you don't want to also force anybody to be less productive because what's the benefit to you as a company? Like, okay,
Hmm.
I also want to ship, I need to bill, and I need to finish the deadlines. So sure, culture is important. Culture is crucial, and I think you and I can relate. The people you're most close to are the ones that you met before pandemic. Like maybe new
Mhm.
joiners now. Okay, maybe you work with them for 2, 3 years, 5 years. Probably you're not as close as the ones that you actually saw every day. You went to lunch and you were sharing these moments,
True.
non-work moments that allows you to create those connections, right? So definitely it's important, but how to do it, I don't know.
Well, right now I love for me, my biggest option would be the possibility of being not forced. Here in Spain, we have you have the full remote or full office, or what it's called the hybrid. Officially, in the hybrid, you need to go a certain number of days a week or a month in general. And although the hybrid sounds nice, I don't like the idea of being forced to go a certain number of days. I go to the office. I go every single Friday. I like to go to the office because I socialize and I connect with people that I've built connections before, and I build connections with new people. And I love the possibility of going to the office, but knowing that I can decide not to go to the office if I don't want to. For me, that's the best option. And what I would expect a company to do is to encourage you to come to the office. Like, hey, these are the kind of things that we offer if you come to the office,
Free
or
pizza, free lunch, free
free
pizza.
free pizza, free lunch, or we've been struggling a little bit to try to make that our front end community to go to the office for a reason, but you have to find a good reason. I love the front end monthlies that we do, and I think that those are the perfect days that you can, hey, all the front ends come to the office. Let's work from the office and try to engage with each other. Of course, it is not as simple as before, and we're not forcing anyone to do so. But that will be super nice. In the case of Barcelona, a lot of people moved away from Barcelona, at least not not like to another state but outside the city. So it's harder for them to come to the office, unlike, for example, us that live very close by. And I think that that's one of the biggest gains also from remote working, because you don't have to be in an expensive city like Barcelona. It's horrible in that sense. You can be in a more in a more uh, in a city that doesn't cost so much to rent an apartment, for example. And yeah, it's hard now to try to bring them together, but I think that the companies should try to find ways, like, for example, team meetings, special events, try to bring everyone together and make them a reason, because I think that it's still very important to try to form those connections, and you cannot do them, at least in my experience, I haven't seen that you can do them online, but not in a work environment like this.
Yeah, definitely, Chucho. I'm with you. I think the companies need to offer a way to socialize, like to have the offices, maybe not as big as before. And again, you also said something very interesting and challenging. How do we get people to the office? Like, yeah, free pizza, come on. Events or I think you need the space for those that need it, right?
Yes. Yes.
Some people have like personal lives that actually don't need to socialize as much, and the contrary is also true. People that maybe are more lonely at home and they need more people to socialize, and they need that space to get together and just and be human, right? So definitely we should have it. How to achieve like more engagement or more people coming to it? I don't think it's free food. I don't think that's it. But probably events, as you said. I mean, I like when we sort of do a get together for a team, like the direct team, or maybe bigger, like the summer party. That's a one-off a year. But team events are nice, like coming together, maybe doing some sort of go to hackathon or just getting together with a client, perhaps. But just getting together it's good. Not all the time, but it's good.
Yeah. I love the idea of trying to find out things to excuses to make people go to the office. In the end, the excuses, let's build something together, let's build connections, and I think that that's it. And from time to time, doing events, hackathons, as you say, or things like this, it's nice. It's nice, and I think we should try to, as a company, should try to push. But I also think that the best option is when they don't force you to go to the office, and that's for me the best thing.
It's important,
One
yes.
one
Please
thing that
don't
has
make us.
changed, yes, please don't. One thing that has changed is, as you say, the we have academies where we bring people and we teach them what they train them what they need to do to know in order to work with us. And before the COVID, we got everyone here together in Barcelona. They were together for a couple of months and they worked meeting each other, and they built really nice connections. We have a lot of people that they're connected between themselves after years. After COVID, we stopped, and then we tried to do it again. And the first thing that we did was it was completely online. And although we got fantastic people, we had to go for a little bit higher grade than we used to, because we used to get people with very little uh, knowledge necessarily. We didn't care, just we wanted more attitude and things like this. And right now we need to get a little bit more, because before you put them in the office and they would be with people learning that if they have a doubt, you could just go to talk to them, and that's it. Nowadays, doing that remotely can be a little bit different, especially if it's one of their first jobs. So now we're back indeed with the academy, but we're getting people a little bit higher grade, and we are right now bringing them to the office during the training. But we're also putting or asking people, other people, to go to the office and be with them, not to babysit them or anything. It's like support them. And what I've seen, at least in the couple of ones that we've done, that the people that go to the office, they build connections between themselves, and that's super nice. You can see that they integrate better, and I think that's amazing. Also, today, for example, I was in the morning during the morning in the office. I've been in the last couple of days going to talk to them and helping them directly instead of doing it remotely, which yes, you could do, but it's different. I think the conversation that you can have like that, it's a bit different. So for me, it's important still. There's still a good reason to go to the office, just not
Yeah. If I think
obligated.
back when I was a junior, was starting, yeah, it was one office. And then when you were stuck in something, you would just stand up, go to the senior person and then, hey,
Uh,
I'm not stuck on this. This CSS doesn't work. And then they would help you immediately. And nowadays, I think if I was a junior, I would find challenging to write to my senior colleagues on Slack or whatever is it, Teams, and ask them for help or for a phone or for a call. Like I'm disturbing them too much. But but just standing up and saying, hey, I'm stuck here. I think it's way easier, and yeah, new tuners have a tough time. Maybe they think it's a luxury to have a full remote, but I don't think it's as easy on their careers.
no, I agree. I think that it hinders you a bit, your learning curve. Although I've seen people that have been full remote that have
Sure,
fantastic,
sure.
but I think in general terms, it's when you're learning, it's better to be there. In any case, I hope that we keep on, as you said, on a hybrid work type of work. And I see a lot of companies forcing people back to the office. And I think in my case, I think that especially in IT, it's a mistake. So among other things is that there's going to be other companies that will gladly take these people there and in a full remote way because I don't know, it's more convenient for them. If you don't work for one company, another one is going to hire you like this. And I've been reading a little bit, and it seems that I don't know in Spain or Europe, but in the US, some companies bought a lot of real estate and they want people back, not because they think it's better, but because they've already invested so much in real estate that it's a loss if they don't get people back to the office. And I think that that's the worst type of reason to get people back to the office.
No, the worst type of reason is like I have friends who don't work in IT and they're being forced back to the office, but because their bosses think they're not productive. Like their bosses think that if they're in the office, they will deliver more, they will ship more, whatever it is. I mean, I'm not talking about coding. I'm talking about friends that are not coders. And there's this Spanish mindset of the boss that if I see you at the office, you're more productive. If I see you that you are sitting down in front of your computer, it means you're doing work. That's BS. That's a very narrow mindset.
It is.
And if you are somebody who can take these decisions, like a C-level executive, you need to understand maybe your employees are happier and more productive if they're doing a hybrid or full remote. Just do your KPIs, do your metrics, and if they're delivering, who cares if they're doing it from a coffee shop, at home, or some in the office? I mean, as long as you're delivering and meeting the deadlines, who cares if you don't see them? But people.
I think I heard stories during COVID like, hey, it's not possible that people should be working from the office, from home, because the days are too nice and people are just going to go out and not work. Excuses like that.
But sure, I mean, I'm sure if you get 1,000 remote employees, you will have some percentage that they're watching Netflix and one playing in PlayStation, for sure. But overall, if your team and your numbers are okay and you're delivering and everyone is happy, like client-wise, and you're doing, again, meeting your KPIs, who cares? Of course, you will have bad apples everywhere. And at the office, you also have bad apples. People will go, I don't know, to smoke 4 times a day and not meet deadlines, or have 10 coffees instead of 1. I don't know. I mean, if you want to slack off, you will slack off, right? So it doesn't matter if it's in the office or at home. So I just don't get it. So
and for me, at least, the way that I live, I think I've gained more than I've lost regarding this. Especially, I've been in the company for long enough to be part of the culture. But so for me, it's more benefits than anything else. And I think that I will defend this as a way of working. That I think it's correct. It's right. And yes, people might be watching at home Netflix from time to time. But if you are worried about that, what you need to do, as you say, it's KPIs. It's what do I expect from this person? Is this person delivering what I am expecting? Doesn't matter if they're home or the office. This is what I'm expecting. Are they doing it? Yes. Oh, so they're doing laundry between meetings. Does that affect the productivity? Oh, they're taking naps. Like, is that really that bad? Because are they not delivering something that they said that they will deliver? The answer is no. That everything is working. Let them have naps. Let them watch a bit of Netflix. Let them live their life. Let them organize themselves. But the important thing is that, of course, expect the work to be done, but let them organize themselves. I think that's one of the best things.
Yeah, that's the key, right? Like, have like your work-life balance. It's a very personal thing, right? Some people with kids, they need to drop them off at 9, but then pick them up at 3, and then drop them off again at the martial arts at 7. So having that freedom for them is way more important than giving them more money, right? More salary and more increases. Like this freedom, it's priceless for them. So definitely allow people to do remote, especially on development side, IT. It's a must. If you're not doing it, you're missing out. So yeah.
I've seen studies that they say that people get more lonely and these kind of things. That's why I say that have a remote job with the possibility of going to the office. It's the best thing, because if there are some of your team that are lonely, let them go. And some of the studies that I see regarding this, a lot of them, when they are negative about working from home, I would question, who are these studies really aimed for? Is this something that is unbiased or not? I guess that a lot of the studies are biased because, as I said, a lot of companies just want people to go back so that they can watch them. They can justify, I don't know why. Anyhow, I think that the most important thing is flexibility. Definitely. For the most part, I think we've gained a lot with working from home. Definitely, it's a very different way than working from the office. There's things that you should try, companies should try to maintain or to get from the benefits from working from from the office, like culture and these kind of things. It's hard. We're still living in a world that's still adapting to this, and yeah, I'm curious to see, especially the new generations, how they turn out after a couple of years that a lot of the workers have been only working remotely, how it turns out.
I don't know. We'll watch and see. The old farts like us, we will watch and see.
Well, I think that this is a good place to close this conversation. There's a lot that we can talk about, especially stories that we've lived, things that we've been through. Um, so it's interesting to see what the listeners think about working from home. Do you think it's hybrid is the best way, working from home, full remote with the possibility of going to the office? I mean, what is your opinion regarding this? So thank you very much, and see you next time.
See you. Bye bye.